What's up, y'all? In today's video, I'm going to talk about how I got tricked into being a flat earther. And I truly believe that I was tricked. I think the whole thing is one big giant hoax. I'm not sure if it's the government that did it or just a small group of people who wanted clicks on their videos. But either way, it caught fire in about 2015. And that's where it all started for me. In 2015 is when I blew my knee out skiing. And after I had surgery, I was pretty much relegated to sitting in a chair in front of a computer. So I started looking into these different conspiracy theories. And the first one I looked into, and probably the most obvious one to see, is 9/11. I mean, I'm not going to get into all the details of that here, but anybody that knows anything about physics, engineering, knows that an aluminum plane can't fly through steel and concrete and then turn it all into microdust. So that was kind of like the gateway drug for these different conspiracies. I got into the persistent contrails. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I mean, that is so easy. All you have to do is go outside and look up. So I'm already having doubts about these mainstream narratives that are being told to me as truth. I mean, I'm not even going to get into like the moon landing. That's a complete joke. People think we went to the moon with 1960s technology and the astronauts talked to the president on a landline. I mean, wow. And it's super funny too how we lost all the information to that. The telemetry data, the video footage, everything. I mean, that's the most amazing thing mankind has ever done, and we lost all the information for it. That makes sense. So I'm already having serious doubts about everything. And back in those days, YouTube used to suggest good videos to you. And back then it started pushing the flat earth videos. And I'm like, what the hell is this? Really? That the earth is flat too? I'm supposed to believe the earth is flat? I went into it completely thinking it was the dumbest thing I'd ever heard. Completely stupid. However, I started watching the first couple videos and I was like, wow, some of these make a lot of sense. But let's back up. Let's back up. You're probably like, wow, dude, you fell for the flat earth hoax? What, did you not go to school? Didn't you go to grade school? They told us all that in kindergarten. I get what you're saying. Back in like second grade, first grade, I was the biggest space nerd ever. I had all the NASA shirts. I had the NASA mugs from when I went to the different space museums. I mean, we went to the ones in Florida. There was some one in Huntsville, Alabama, I believe. We went to that one too. So I was all into that stuff. It's not like I didn't believe from the very beginning. It's not like I wasn't educated. However, though, after I started getting into this flat earth information, I thought back to when they actually did teach us about the globe, and it was in 5th grade. I will never forget it because it just stood out to me as being really weird. Because I remember we came in from like our afternoon recess. We all sit down and we're going to learn about the globe. The first thing the teacher asks is, how do we know the earth is a globe? And I remember that the class nerd raises his hand. It's because we have NASA photos. And she's like, that's exactly right. We have NASA photos. And that was the end of it. That was the end of the conversation. We didn't talk about, different objects weighing different things on different parts of the world due to curvature and spin. We didn't learn about that. We didn't learn about how things disappear over the horizon. Nothing. It's because we have NASA photos. And that was the end of the conversation. That's all it took. And I remember when the teacher told us that the earth is spinning 1,000 miles per hour underneath our feet, we just can't feel it. I thought it was the dumbest thing I'd ever heard in my life. Like, really, the ground is spinning right now underneath me and I just can't feel it? Like, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, but whatever, I'm in 5th grade, I don't care. I just want to get out of school so I can go skate. That's all I cared about. I didn't really give a crap. I just was trying to get through school. The textbook picture that we were going through, because there was a little part in the textbook we were supposed to follow along, and I will never forget the picture. It was like these two primitive indigenous people. They were brown skinned, wearing little loincloths, and they're on this little Tom Sawyer raft where you just tie the logs together. And they're floating down this river. One of them's got the stick and he's like pushing it. The other guy's on the front on his hands and knees. He's like holding on to the front of the raft, and they're getting ready to go over this giant waterfall, which was the end of the earth. And all we did for the remainder of the day is we made fun of that picture. We made fun of the primitive people that thought the earth was flat. We just laughed at them and made jokes. And that was all we did. And I thought that was very abnormal. So let's jump back into 2015. I'm starting to watch these flat earth videos, and they're kind of hitting home. They're making a lot of sense. Water doesn't bend, it lays flat. Like that was the biggest one to me, how the water, we think it lays flat. So I'm like, yeah, how could water be bending around a ball? That doesn't make a lot of sense. But stuff like that. So immediately I'm like, no, I don't want to be a flat earther. I don't want to be a flat earther. Let me go find some globe videos real quick to hopefully change my mind. So I started going through these globe videos and they were just terrible. I mean, they were just garbage. Just like terrible jokes, like, oh my God, if the earth is flat, how come you haven't fallen off the edge yet? And just like stupid shit like that. Nothing that was really scientific at all. So I was like, wow, these people have nothing. They have nothing to offer. So I started going back towards the more scientific, what I thought was more scientific at the time, more of the flat earth videos. However, come to find out, they were all just lies, just hoaxes, just bending the truth and trying to make people think a certain way that wasn't really true. So after the first night of comparing the two types of videos, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to be a flat earther. I can already say I'm going to be a flat earther because these people make more sense than these people who have really nothing to offer to the conversation other than, you know, we have NASA pictures and you're stupid if you think the earth is flat and just stuff like this. Terrible, terrible videos. So I started thinking back and I remember how it was taught in school and how we really didn't have any good globe evidence back then either. So all these things are starting to push me towards the flat earth. I remembered taking the trip to Europe and I remember how we flew from Texas all the way up north through Canada. We hit the edge of Greenland and then dropped in on Europe. And I just remember going, wow, how does that make sense? How does that make sense? Like, why would you do that big curve like that? Why wouldn't you just fly a straight line over? Like, why would we go all the way up through Canada and stuff to get to Europe from Texas? And then I remember flying over the ocean for the first time and it just looked like a giant blue wall and it looked like the water came all the way up to my eye level. And then other things too, you know, like a compass. You think, wow, I hold the compass flat. That would work on a flat earth. Why would I have to hold it flat if the earth was a globe? And stuff like that. And so, you know, like I'm saying, all this stuff is kind of like pushing me to the flat earth. And I wasn't getting any good globe evidence at the time. So then I wanted to take it a step further and I started doing my own research. I went up to the local reservoir that's about 4.5 miles wide and I did my own flat water test.
Oh yeah, dude. Yes, I got it. How far are you off the water right now? 18 inches.
Guess what? No curvature. I took a trip up to the border of Wyoming to see if I could see Pikes Peak from up there. And I was able to see it from, I think, 136 miles away.
All right, guys, I'm right here. I'm right off Owl Canyon Road, the off-ramp for it. And you can see Pikes Peak big. Look at that. I'm 132 miles away right now. You see that? That is like, wow. Wow. That's Pikes Peak, y'all. I'm like less than 20 miles away from the border of Wyoming right now.
And to me, I thought I was seeing stuff that I shouldn't have been able to see. So all these things are like pushing me to the flat earth. However, none of them were 100% rock solid proof. All of them were just a little wishy-washy. However, in my opinion, they all seem to push me towards the flat earth. So I was thinking it's flat. It's got to be flat. We got lied to about that too. That's what I was thinking. However, a giant red flag did come through in 2017 when people watched this video about how mountains are tree stumps, and then just like wildfire, it just spread across the flat earth community. And all of a sudden everybody thought mountains were giant tree stumps. I felt like I was the only one going, wait a minute, wait, this doesn't make any sense at all. But everybody's like, oh my God, it's so amazing, giants and mud floods. And it just started going into like full retard land. I should have known that people had poor judgment at that moment, and I should have reevaluated everything, but I didn't, because I had it in my mind that I thought the earth was flat and they're just wrong about everything else. Little did I know they were wrong about everything. And I was even doing my own videos. I was trying to do my own flat earth proofs and everything like that. And I even did one about the sun. And in that video in 2017, I make the statement, I don't know what the sun is doing in the south. I don't know. The only videos that I thought we had were highly questionable. There was that one where the guy put the watch in there, and then he like labeled north, south. He did too much, because I thought when he put the north, south and everything, I thought the north, actually the word was like behind the mountain. That's what I thought. So I was like, wow, he layered that wrong. He should have put the mountain behind the word, not the word behind the mountain. So I just had these doubts. I'm thinking everything is fake. Everything told to me is fake. So I already have that knee-jerk reaction to thinking this is probably fake. And then the fact that they didn't have any, live streams of it, they would cut it off at 12 hours. So from that point on, I had serious seeds of doubt of what the sun was doing in the South. And I even mentioned it in this 2017 video. Let's take a look.
A lot of people are saying that the sun movement totally debunks the AE map. I don't know about that. I don't know about the Southern Hemisphere. Honestly, I'm not the expert in the Southern Hemisphere. I don't live in the Southern Hemisphere. Never been to the Southern Hemisphere. So I honestly don't know what the sun is doing down there.
Right there, I talk about how I don't know what the sun is doing. But in the back of my mind, like I said, I did know that a southern 24-hour sun would really wreck the flat earth model. So maybe I was being willfully ignorant, but like I said, I had the seeds of doubt. I wasn't sure because everything I'd seen up to that point was a little questionable. So I felt like anything that came through after the fact was just in a response to flat earthers. So, those were probably fake too. That's why when the final experiment came through and they offered to send Jaron, I was like, yes, finally, we're gonna know what the sun does. I realized everybody else is like, we already knew what the sun does. You just didn't want to pay attention. Maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. But there was a big gap there from I'd say 2018. I really dropped out of the community and just kind of observed from afar. I didn't really get too involved. I wasn't making any videos from 2018 all the way up to 2024. I wasn't really too heavily involved with it. I was still paying attention to what was going on, but I wasn't into it. My mind was pretty much already made up. And I didn't feel like there was any new information that was going to be coming through. So like I said, when they offered to do the final experiment, I was like, yes, this will answer it once and for all. And I've said it before and I will say it again, but I am extremely thankful that Jaron went down there to do the final experiment, because anybody else would have been a complete waste of money. I mean, we're seeing what's going on with Witsit. He doesn't seem to get it. I thought he was the smartest guy on earth. He doesn't get it. I mean, you got Dave Weiss doubling down. You got Eric DeBay doubling down. You've got all these grifters now. It has really separated who the grifters are and who the actual truth seekers are. And Jaron is a real one. I know I've given him some shit from here and there on this channel before, but he is actually one of the honest ones. And I respect what he's doing with his channel right now. He's doing the right thing. I love it. Keep it up, Jaron. You have a supporter over here. I don't have money to give you or anything like that, but I support you morally. So when Jaron was down there doing his live streams, it was blatantly obvious that the sun was not setting. You could hear it in Jaron's voice that the sun was not setting, because I could just tell in his voice that, holy shit, this wrecks everything that I've been talking about for the past 9 years. Just like it wrecked everything that I was thinking for the past 9 years. But that's okay. That's why they went. We're trying to figure this stuff out. And that was the biggest puzzle piece that we needed. And like I said, up to that point, it was questionable. At least in my mind, it was questionable. I know people out there dude, don't you have any friends in the South you could have called? No, I don't have any friends in the South that I could have called. I don't know anybody in the Southern Hemisphere. I've never been in the Southern Hemisphere. I really didn't know for sure what the sun was doing. So that's why I am so glad that they did the final experiment. Thank you, Pastor Will Duffy. Thank you, Jaron. Thank you to all the Globers that went down there. I appreciate it. Personally, I appreciate it, because now I'm back on track. I'm done with the flat earth hoax. It's over. It was kind of fun while it lasted. And although I do regret saying that I was a flat earther, going through all that gave me a new appreciation for where I live. I never looked at it like that until I started getting into the flat earth and everything. And then just everything just seemed more amazing to me. When I do hikes, I'm like, wow, this is awesome. I mean, just great. So I am thankful that we did the final experiment. I'm thankful that I no longer and being tricked into thinking that the earth is flat, because it is tricky. I mean, you can pull it off. If you don't have the South to debunk it and you're just going off information in the Northern Hemisphere, you can pull it off. You can actually make people think that the earth is flat and the little small local sun is just going around. It all makes so much sense. However, it doesn't check out and the math doesn't work. So, like I said, I regret doing that in a way, and then in another way, I don't regret it, because now I know. Now I know in my heart what it is. And that's what it's all about. That's what I was looking for. I was looking for the answers, and now I've got them. So once again, thank you, Pastor Will Duffy. Thank you, Jaron. And thank you to all the Globers that went down there. I appreciate you. But that's about all I've got for this video, guys. Hope you join me for the next one. If you like the content, give it a thumbs up. And until the next one, y'all, peace.